I am so sick of these wokers. I'm sick of the wokers. I'm going to give you two examples today of the hypocrisy with this woke brigade between Brett Favre and LeBron James. And we actually went a while here on the channel without having to talk about woke politics and sports. It was nice. But this week that has all changed. I have made more videos this week about woke politics once again invading sports than I've made my usual videos. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, we're kind of in a lull period right now in sports. No one watches Major League Baseball, so there's no point in me talking about that. The NBA is transitioning from the regular season to the playoffs right now, so star players are missing games every night. To be honest with you, right now the NBA is incredibly boring. Now, the second reason that we've talked politics and sports so much this week is that the wokers are giving me so much material. It's like Christmas in April. If you've been following me here on the channel for a while, at least since last summer, then you know how much I take pleasure in just roasting these wokers. I mean, they make it so simple. Their ideas aren't rooted in truth or common sense, so it's really easy to just take them apart. Hall of Fame quarterback Brett Favre, the first example that we're going to talk about today. Hall of Fame quarterback Brett Favre is the latest victim of the wrath of Club Woke. Now, I was never the biggest fan of Brett Favre during his NFL career. I thought he was overrated, though he was one tough dude. I'll give him that. Brett Favre was tough. His streak of never missing a start will never be broken. Dude was tough. But one thing I do respect and have always respected about Brett Favre, he has never been afraid to speak his mind. And if you're 25 years old or under, this may come as a bit of a surprise to you, but people used to speak their minds freely in this country on a regular basis without fear of backlash or reprisal. We used to live in a country where you could speak whatever came to your mind and not have to worry about hurting someone's feelings. Back in the 90s, early 2000s, the general attitude was to hell with your feelings. People didn't care back then if they hurt your feelings or not. We are getting to a point where less and less people are willing to speak their minds. So I respect Brett Favre for doing so. He has a podcast now, which was news to me. I didn't know that. And he was on his podcast the other day talking about the Derek Chauvin verdict. Now, before I go any further, let me just say this, because this really confuses the hell out of me. Can someone please tell me, what does George Floyd and Derek Chauvin have to do with sports? Every sports show on ESPN, FS1, all they've been talking about all week is George Floyd and Derek Chauvin. I don't remember either one of those guys playing it down in the NFL or making a three in the NBA. This is exactly what I've been talking about for a year now. These wokers are merging politics into our sports. They know these athletes have a platform. If Nancy Pelosi comes out and talks about systemic racism, no one gives a damn. No one's listening to Nancy Pelosi. But if LeBron James talks about it, millions of people will listen. The woke brigade, they figured this out. They can use athletes to get their message out, and they can influence millions of people by doing so. Anyway, Brett Favre decided that he was going to join the conversation on the Chauvin verdict, George Floyd. And he gave the following opinion. Here's what he said, quote, "I find it hard to believe, and I'm not defending Derek Chauvin in any way. I find it hard to believe, first of all, that he intentionally meant to kill George Floyd," end quote. I don't think Brett Favre's comments are off base at all. Actually, if you think about it, he's 100% right. There's a reason the prosecution only charged Derek Chauvin with second and third degree murder and not first degree murder. They couldn't prove intent. I didn't think Brett Favre's comments were that big of a deal, but I'm not woke, so I don't really get it, I guess. Captain Woke Shannon Sharpe, He was here to explain it for me. He was here to tell all of us about how wrong Brett Favre is with these comments. Listen to this garbage from Shannon Sharpe. Quote, "Something's wrong with Brett. He bumped his head or something. You mean to tell me he didn't intentionally put his knee on the man's neck? Now this is where the murder charge didn't come in, and manslaughter did, because the man died. You intentionally put your knee on the man's neck. You should have known that act in and of itself could lead to death." End quote. You would think that Shannon Sharpe doesn't know the definition of intent if you heard what he just said. But he does. He does. He said it himself. This is where the murder charge didn't come in and manslaughter did. That is exactly right, Shannon Sharpe. It was manslaughter and not murder, because they couldn't prove intent. Just because he intentionally put his knee on George Floyd's neck, it doesn't mean his intent was to kill him. Let me give you another example. Let's say that you're at a bar one night and some drunk dude starts harassing you. One thing leads to another. The altercation becomes physical. You punch the dude in the face once or twice. He ends up dying. Are you going to be charged with first-degree murder? No, because your intent wasn't to kill him. It's that simple. I don't understand why wokers like Shannon Sharpe just can't grasp this concept. He also had a problem with Brett Favre saying politics shouldn't be mixed with sports. Favre has been vocal in his disgust of NFL players kneeling for the national anthem. He believes standing for the anthem actually inspires unity, since people of all races have fought for our freedom in this country. Which, makes sense to me, but not to Shannon Sharpe, who is quickly becoming the wokest of all wokers. Shannon Sharpe says eliminating racism will unify the country. Treating everyone equal, that will bring people together. Now, I found that kind of interesting. Treat everyone equal. Sounds fair. Okay. Let me give you an example of Shannon Sharpe not treating everyone equally. This week, a cop, I believe it was in Columbus, Ohio, shot and killed a 16-year-old black girl. Now, why did he shoot her? Because she was trying to attack another girl with a knife. And I'm almost positive that other girl that she was trying to attack with a knife was a black girl too. Basically, this cop saved a girl's life. Now, LeBron James, he rushes to judgment. He tweeted out to his 50 million plus followers a picture of this cop with an hourglass and said, "You're next." Now, I don't know about you guys, but that sounds like a damn threat to me. But to Shannon Sharpe, this was okay. This was all okay. He said that LeBron James eventually took the tweet down, and he accepted responsibility. He said once LeBron figured out that he was wrong, he attempted to make it right. Really? One thing, if the cop who shot that girl with the knife didn't shoot her, if he did nothing, LeBron James and Shannon Sharpe, they would have said that he didn't save her life because she was black. Her life wasn't important enough because she was black. And two, when Brett Favre tried to explain his comments that caused so much backlash, something was wrong with him, according to Shannon Sharpe. But when LeBron James does it, he's accepting responsibility. LeBron James is not accepting responsibility. Once again, LeBron jumped the gun without knowing all the facts. You ever notice guys like LeBron, Shannon Sharpe, they never talk about black-on-black violence, which is far more prevalent than police shooting black people. Far more prevalent. They never mention the hundreds, maybe even thousands by this point, of black people that have been killed in Chicago or New Orleans or Baltimore already this year. No. They don't speak on that. They only speak on this violence when it fits their narrative. They only speak on the violence when it's a white cop killing a black person. That's it. Even when the white cop is saving another black person's life. If you're a cop, you're in a lose-lose. It's going to get to a point where cops are going to be afraid to go on calls when it involves black people because they can't win in the situation. They're going to be called a racist either way. It's wrong. Somehow, LeBron James has become some kind of leader in African American politics. I don't know how, but he has just proven that he knows absolutely nothing. He's an idiot when it comes to politics. And also, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Let me get back to Shannon Sharpe. I thought Shannon Sharpe said that we were supposed to treat everybody equally. That would bring us all together. We treat everyone equally. You know why LeBron James took his tweet down? He said people were using his words to incite more racism. He said we were using his words to create more racism. That's what he said. Dude, you're the one that is creating more racism. If that had been a black cop that saved that girl's life, do you think we would even know about this story? You think LeBron James would be posting a picture of him on Twitter and subtly threatening his life? Now let's flip the script on this altogether. What if a cop had posted that same tweet that LeBron James did, but instead it was the cop saying that LeBron James was next, that LeBron should be held accountable? If a cop did that, he would be fired immediately. Then they would arrest him for making threats. But with LeBron James, nothing happens. Nothing happens. Why? Because he's a card-carrying member of Club Woke. If you're Brett Favre, you're not allowed to have an opinion on George Floyd. If you're LeBron James or Shannon Sharpe, Skip Bayless, you can do whatever the hell you want and get away with it. This is why I keep pounding on the point that politics have no place in sports. LeBron James has ruined his legacy by becoming so political, which is fine. It's fine. If he wants to ruin his own legacy, that's his right. More power to him. But the problem is, he's taking the rest of the NBA down with him. Never before has a face of the NBA left the league in worse shape than it was in when he came into the league. Magic and Bird passed it on to Michael Jordan. Jordan passed it to Kobe, who was able to resurrect his career after that scandal in Colorado and propel the NBA at the same time. Kobe left it to LeBron James, who is passing on a league tainted by racial politics to guys like Zion Williamson. Here you go, kid. Clean up the mess I made. It's wrong on the part of LeBron James. It's just wrong. Now, what do you guys think of Brett Favre's comments? What about the outrage from the wokers over Brett Favre's comments? Then guys like Shannon Sharpe defending LeBron James for his tweet that incited violence against police. What do you guys think about that? Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com. KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys this weekend.